All right, so anyway, my favorite story of all times is The Time is Near. Indeed. So the story is called The Time is Near from the Completion, the Infinity, that is not published yet. So this is a promotional thing here. So anyway, The Time is Near is what it's called. From the Completion, the Infinity. Narrator speaks. There are times in life for certain, that there are times that are unforeseen and uncertain. But certainly, my friend, certainly listen to this certain story from the storyteller that is more certain than certain is. Storyteller speaks. Come in, my certain people, and certainly have a seat, for I have something very certain to say, something I must certainly speak. For certainly, once and for all, there are certain people I must reach. Here is a certain story, just for all of you certain people, every one of you I do mean each. There was a certain woman who was certainly ridiculed down through the years, and the certain woman certainly cried many, many certain tears. For certain, her pathway was uncertain, for she could only see her pathway for certain when her pathway was certainly dark. It was a certain letter. For certain seasons, too many reasons why certainly she needed a major spark. And many followed her wherever she might certainly go, for the things that she might certainly know. Throughout the ages, certainly, this woman certainly knew how to grow in the dark with no light to certainly glow. And she certainly metamorphosized into different creatures throughout certain ages. For all life was born certainly from her throughout certain ages, as if she was certain that she needed a place certainly prepared of all that is certainly right, due to the separation certainly that did happen in the beginning, certainly uncertain at times that her plan would work at times. She made plans stored over history and time certainly to make certain that she would find her place, that she would certainly find her place in time. And as the time certainly grew near, she certainly spoke these words, certainly, the time is near. For the husband had certainly come to answer certain questions that she had on her mind, and would listen to no one certainly, and would listen to what was certainly on the certain woman's mind. And when these things did happen certainly, it was as if all was right with the world and all certain worlds, to the point that forevermore all things had become infinitely certain in an infinite amount of certain worlds. And forevermore the certain woman and the certain man were walking hand in hand once again, infinity, certainly, forever and evermore, certainly, walking happily ever after, forever and evermore, once again, infinity, certainly. Narrator speaks. And when the storyteller was certainly done with the certain story that the storyteller spoke, there was certainly not a dry eye in the place, for the certain story brought an infinite amount of tears of joy, and all would certainly know for certain from then on, when the time is near, from then on, for certain from then on, for their tears to certainly be turned to laughter, due to all the certain joy to be had from all that life gives if we just believe in ourselves, certainly that it is always possible an infinite amount of times, certainly, to overcome depression, certainly, no matter how bad it can be, no matter how bad. The story right there is called The Time is Near, from the work, the completion, the infinity. Now, what it means is, remember, Eve was supposed to be at fault for getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And so supposedly it breaks up the happiness and the joy between this union of Adam and Eve. And so this is how it's like they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And then Adam and Eve meet back up and they get back in the Garden of Eden. See? It's a beautiful story. I'm out. So anyway, that story is called The Time is Near, from the completion, the infinity. Man, I get choked up sometimes. I got dry tears though. But I love it though. I really do love it. I'm telling you, I do get choked up reading that though. I'm serious about that. But my tears do turn to laughter though. So anyway, just like the story said. So the time is near is the story from the completion, the infinity. I'm out. I'm Robert Smith III. Peace.